Hey guys, welcome back. Um, Another deck profile. This is my Agents deck. It's sort of like version 1. Um, I had an Agents deck like a while ago, but I don't know what happened to it. I think I deleted it or something. But this is the first one I've made in a while. Uh, it's sort of like in beta. I've been trying to figure out like what is the best options for a lot of things. I tried looking online for ideas. I did find some ideas actually. Uh, Anyways, I'll just get right into it. Obviously, this is an Agents deck, so I'm running triple Shine Ball. Um, you kind of want to run the three Shine Balls. You definitely want to run three, just because if you draw like one or one gets into the graveyard or something, um, you want to have at least two in the deck. I'm running one BLS just because this deck's got a lot of darks and a lot of lights, so you could also run like Chaos Sorcerer or something, but I feel like BLS is the better option. One Christia. This card is extremely good. If you have exactly 4 fairies in the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, target one fairy monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Neither player can special summon monsters. So, it's really nice. She also gets put into the deck, placed on top of the deck, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard. So she has like recyclability. You only really need to run one. I mean, you could run two, but I think three is definitely too much because you could have you need 4 exactly fairies in the graveyard, and there is a lot of fairies in this deck, but there's not like an excessive amount of fairies. Like not the entire deck is fairies. There is other monsters as well. So I feel like one is fine, two at most, but definitely not three. But Hyperion, this is a different story. Hyperion's really good. Definitely run at three. You want to see this card as much as possible. It's another level 8 that you can special summon from your hand by banishing an agent from your hand, field, or graveyard. The fact that you can just banish from the graveyard, you can banish stuff you've already used or that's been sent to the graveyard, or if you need spaces on your field, you can banish from the field, and he has that ability where he can just pop. And I am running the one Sanctuary of the Sky, or a Sanctuary in the Sky, so he has the potential to pop twice. Especially because I'm running like this. You'll see later when I talk about the extra deck, why this, why you. No, okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep going. You'll see later. I'm running one of the Uranus, just one, because I'm running one Sanctuary of the Sky, and this card isn't that important. It is a very good card. If Sanctuary of the Sky is in the field, you can just special summon it, and then you can send an agent to the graveyard to make this card's level become that card's level. So generally like 3 or 2, which is nice. And he is a tuner, so you can most of the time you're gonna want to use him with needle fiber to go for something else. One Zephyros, another dark target, as well as just more monsters on the field for like link summoning. I'm running Brilliant Fusion, so you can send the Brilliant Fusion back, or like Sanctuary of the Sky or Valhalla, and just summon him. So it's a free monster basically. Anyways, one Honest. Even though this card's at 3, like most decks aren't really gonna run it at 3 because it's really cloggy. Like a lot of the time, like you'd prefer like other cards to Honest. Honest is like you have one in your hand, and it's one of those cards that when you need it, you'll generally have it. Like you don't want to run this card at 3, definitely 2 max. I'm running it at 1, but that's just because you don't really need Honest all that much. I'm running triple of the Venus. You kind of want to run triple of the Venus and the Earth just because you want to see this card as much as possible, and you want to see Earth as much as possible, just because they are the main agents of the deck. The recruiting ability of Venus is really good, especially for summoning Celestial Nightlord Parshath. This card, you can search out Sanctuary of the Sky. That's why I'm only running one. It's because this card, and it's like probably one of the best link monsters in the game because it has 3 arrows pointing down. So it gives you 3 spots, and it only needs 2+ fairies. And with Venus, you can basically just summon it by themselves. You know, you summon Venus, and then you just get 3 shine balls, and it just needs 3 or 2+ fairies. It doesn't need to be different types, and they can be normal monsters. So Venus is very important. I'm running triple of the Scorpio Predaplant and one of the Cobra. This is one of the smaller engines in the deck. There's like 3 engines in this deck, I think. There's the Agents engine, there's the Predaplant engine, and then there's the Brilliant Fusion engine. I guess this is kind of part of the Brilliant Fusion engine. But yeah, you use this to search out Brilliant Fusion or Instant Fusion, and go for Seraphinite. And Seraphinite is a fairy, so it's really nice to be able to use that fairy to summon Lord Parshath. And you can also go for like Leviair or something. And also, like, if you wanted to search Instant Fusion, then you can go for like Theseus, and then go for Needle Fiber. Get like a level 2, and then go for like Librarian or something. But yeah, I'm also running the triple Lone Fire Blossom just to, you know, deck thinning, as well as being able to get to the Scorpio easier. You want as many Scorpios in the deck as possible, and you don't want to see the Cobra at all. You want to special summon this from the deck. That's what, because the second you draw this card, the entire engine is dead. I mean, you could use it for deck thinning, but that's about it. So you do want to run triple of the Lone Fire Blossom. It's also level 3, so it has a lot of synergy with the deck. There's a lot of level 3s in the deck. Obviously, I said before, triple Earth. This card's level 2 tuner, and I can search any agent. But if you have Sanctuary of the Sky on the field, you can search Hyperion. So that's really nice. And then you just special summon Hyperion to the field, and then because if you have Sanctuary of the Sky on the field again, he can pop twice per turn. But you do have to banish 2 fairies from the graveyard. But it's not like you banish 2, pop 2. It's a you banish 1, pop 1, and then banish another 1, pop another 1. So Starlight Road can't negate it, which is pretty nice. So yeah, triple Earth, you kind of need this at 3. You can also get it off of Needle Fiber. 1 Gem Knight Lazuli. You could run Garnet, but I feel like Lazuli is better in this situation, just because you send Lazuli, and then if you already have a Shine Ball, or you can send a Shine Ball to the graveyard and then just add that Shine Ball back. So you're not really using too much of that. And now you have another fairy in your hand for Synchro plays or something. I'm also running 1 Jet Synchron and 1 Glow Bulb. I put the Jet Synchron in because I was running the driver engine. My driver engine. If you didn't know, I use this engine in some decks where you normal summon Ready Driver, get Lefty, go for Needle Fiber. Off Needle Fiber, you get O-Line, and then you go for Summon Sorceress with the token for O-Line. You put it in a spot Summon Sorceress points to. Use Summon Sorceress effect, you get Jet Synchron, and then Jet Synchron, you will link summon Linkuriboh, and then use Jet Synchron's effect, and now you have 4 monsters on the field, and you can go for Skull Dread. So it's like a 1-card Skull Dread. I mean, kind of 2 actually, because you have to discard a card. But as long as you have like Ready in your hand, and then another card, be it anything, you can get a free Skull Dread. But I decided not to run that in this deck because the extra deck is very tight. And I was already running there's 3 engines in this deck. You could also see that I was contemplating whether to run the Sky Striker engine as well, but I decided not to as well because the extra deck is very tight. So yeah, I'm running these 2 guys. I'm still running the Jet Synchron just because there is a lot of synchro plays, especially summoning Crystal Wing, or like Armor Arm. So Anyways, triple instant fusion. Just because more plays, more monsters in the field. Link summons, fiber into like other things, and you can just synchro summon up. So I really want to run the 3. It's also searchable off of Cobra. So there's only one target for instant fusion though. I was also running previously a like Thousand Eyes Restrict, which could also be handy for synchro plays. But I took it out because there wasn't space in the extra deck. One Raigeki, one Foolish Burial, and one Monster Reborn. Mostly on Foolish Burial, I'll just send like Zephrys, or you could send like one of these guys if you've drawn the Cobra or something. Or you could send like Hyperion and then just Monster Reborn Hyperion or something. So yeah, the Foolish Burial does come in handy. And then the Monster Reborn, obviously, why wouldn't you run Monster Reborn? I've said this like multiple times. There's absolutely no reason not to run Monster Reborn in every single deck you play because it is hit 1. Like it's a good card. Like it's a very powerful card, and it can turn duels around. Honestly, like you can turn duels around, and especially now that Soul Charge is banned, like this card is so much more. This card is so much better because it can continue plays. And even if you don't need it, like it's still good to have, just so like if none of your monsters can be special from the graveyard, you can just special summon your opponent's monsters. Like if you've gotten over something and then you just play this, then you get their monster back. Like then they have to get over it, And then obviously the Raigeki, like just board control. It speaks for itself. Triple Cosmic Cyclone. This can also be Twin Twister, but there's not a lot of stuff you want to discard in this deck. Maybe the Glow Up Bulb or the Jet Synchron, and like I guess if you draw like Gart or Lazuli, then maybe that. But like I think the Cosmic Cyclone is a better option in a lot of situations because it doesn't just destroy; it banishes. It's basically MST. You pay 1,000, but instead you get to banish it, which is, in my opinion, like leagues better, especially because a lot of spells and traps nowadays have destruction effects. So yeah, I'm running like a 3 just for more back row control. 2 Valhalla. I think this card kind of speaks for itself. There's a lot of fairies in this deck. Like you can even special summon Christia if you want to, or Hyperion. You can summon Uranus. You can summon like Earth or Venus. So it's one of these cards where you have nothing and you just basically just summon a boss monster for free. It's also a target for Zephrys' effect, so I'm just running it at 2. I feel like 3 is probably too much. If you wanted to run more, you could run like Hecatrix, I think it's called, that searches it. And that might be like a better option than, or I guess you could just run 3, but I'm definitely running it at 2. I don't want it to clog. You want to see these cards, but you don't want them. You don't want to see too many of them where you're clogging your hand up. With things you only really need one of, because you only need one Valhalla. You can only use one, and it's one of those cards where it's a detriment to play it because it is a continuous spell card. So when you play that second one, that is a space you cannot use again until they destroy it. And who would just destroy, a card on the field that's basically taking up one of your spots? That's like destroying a Call of the Haunted sort of a thing, right? Anyways, I'm running 1 Brilliant Fusion. This card's at 1. I can only run 1. I would definitely be running 3 if I could. This card is pretty instrumental in a lot of the plays because you get to summon Seraphonite, and Seraphonite is really good because you get an extra normal summon as well as that fairy body on the board. And then you can also like discard a spell to have her gain her normal attack. So it's good for like OTKs and stuff. But yeah, just 1 Brilliant Fusion. I like this card. I understand why it's limited now because a lot of people have abused it, but it's just sad that it's at 1 because I used to play it all the time in Agents. Anyway, it's just 1 Sanctuary of the Sky is the last card. I'm only running one Sanctuary of the Sky just because I can search it pretty easily if I need it. And I feel like maybe, I guess you could run two, but I feel like maybe three is too much. You could also run like a terraforming or something, or maybe a like Metaverse. I don't know. Metaverse is a very good card as well. But yeah, I'm just running one. That's it for the main deck. I'm only running 40 cards in this deck. If you've seen previously, I generally run like 46 cards in a lot of my decks, like because I like to pack as many cards that I like in the deck as possible, and they give me as many options as possible. But just 40 in this one. I feel like that in this deck, it kind of like ruins the consistency, and you can really brick in decks like these. So I'll move on to the extra deck. Obviously, the Seraphonite, just one. You can only summon one anyway. There's only one Brilliant Fusion, and I'm only running one of the Lazuli. So just one Seraphonite, one Theseus. You can run multiple of this, but I don't feel like you need to. You're probably only going to summon one per duel anyway. One Trishula. You can only run one Trishula, but I feel like this deck summons it pretty easily. If you just have like Earth on the field and then you summon Venus and get 2 Shine Balls, that's Trishula right there. So, one Savage Dragon. This card will link summon a decent amount, and so Savage Dragon he's basically like free negation. He can negate anything, like up to the number of. So if you didn't know, when it's Synchro Summon, you can equip one Link monster in the graveyard, and then if you do place Boral counters on this card up to the number of Link, like I guess equal to the Link monster's rating. So like if you would equip Needle Fiber, you put 2 counters because it's a Link 2, and then he can negate once per turn up to twice, sort of a thing. Like he can, which is interesting, but it also means that now there's like a really easy way to get negations on the field, especially if you're running like something like Skull Dread in the graveyard, and then you just equip that. Now you have 4 negations. You can't use them like in the same turn, which is probably justified, because cards that can negate multiple times a turn is pretty dumb. This game's become about how many negations you can get on the field and then just not let your opponent play, which kind of sucks, because the game it's just become that, it's really sad. But I'm running one Crystal Wing. Same premise. This card's pretty easily summoned because there's a lot of level 3s, and then if you just get Jet Sync on the field, and then go for like Black Rose or like any level 7. I'm running Black Rose just because easy board wipes, But if you just summon like any level 7 and then just use Jet Synchron's effect to get it back, now you have a Crystal Wing. Yeah, I said before I'm running Black Rose. You can run any level 7. I'm running Librarian as well. I feel like this is the most generic level 5 that has a decent attack in the game. I feel like it has like the highest one for generic level 5s, and I like Librarian. I used to run him all the time in Agents. He's pretty easy to summon as well. There's so many level 3s, and then Earth's a level 2 tuner. So yeah, Librarian and then Armory Arm. Originally I think I wasn't running this card, but I decided to run it because you won't be able to summon this very much. Armory Arm is like Armory Arm and like Red Eye's Black Dragon Sword or whatever. Like you basically are never gonna summon it just because you need a Link monster in the field. It's one of those cards that was really, really good before Link format, and then after Link format, it's like, this isn't very good. But in this deck, you Link summon a decent amount, and so having this in the extra deck is decent. And it's really easy to summon just because, like, level 1, and then I'm running a bunch of level 3s. So yeah, I'm running the one Armor Arm You can take this out. You don't have to run it, but I feel like it's still a pretty good card. So one Levier. There's a bunch of level threes in this deck, and with Hyperion, you'll just be banishing fairies. So you can get back your fairies pretty easily with Levier. One Gotchi. This card is pretty synonymous with agents. Like I can't I can't I'm at like I can't remember how many times I've Venus two shine balls into Gotchi and then have like a 2000 attack Venus, and that's just the play. You just end your turn right there. I mean, Agents basically was like a rank 2 sort of a deck, and then like synchro base most of the time, like way back until Lynx came out. So I'm running the one Gotchi. You don't have to run this card. Don't really make it all that much. You mostly go for like Link summons with the level or the tokens or the shine balls. So one Skull Dread. I run this in most of my decks just because I really like this card. It's a lot of deck thinning. You get free monsters on the field, and it pumps your monsters by 300 points. What can you not like, One, on Celestial Knight Lord Parshath. I talked about this card before. You can discard a card to add Sanctuary of the Sky, or one card that specifically lists Sanctuary of the Sky. So you basically get to search out Earth, Hyperion, Uranus, or Sanctuary of the Sky from the deck. And then if you already have Sanctuary of the Sky on the field, you can just add a fairy to your hand, like a light fairy, I think. So that's pretty powerful. So you can basically search like, half the deck. You can search like Christia if you want. And then when it's destroyed, I didn't read that second part. You can banish one fairy monster from your graveyard, special summon one fairy monster with a higher level banish monster from your hand. Okay. So I mostly only play this guy for his first effect, where he can search, and the fact that he's 2400 and he has 3 links pointing down, which is actually pretty nice because just being able to summon like tons of extract monsters is in most cases pretty nice. Anyways, 2 Needle Fiber. This card speaks for itself. I run this card in most of my decks that involve tuners. Basically all of them that involve tuners, actually. Just because being able to get a link monster on the field as well as getting another tuner is pretty nice. Just because you not only get the link monster on the field, but you get more combo options on the field as well in terms of the tuner, especially if you have another like null monster in the field. Like now you've got your link monster, and then you've got the materials to make like a better, like another synchro monster, instead of just going straight for the synchro monster where you would just be locked into that one spot. Now you have 2 spots to go in, and a link monster in the field with more attack, like with 1500 attack points. And if you wanted to run like a Coral Dragon or something, Coral Dragon is a good option. You wouldn't summon it all that much in this deck. You'd mostly use it to trade out Needle Fiber into. If you wanted to, you could run like Coral Dragon or the Wonder Magician, or like that level 8 synchro tuner. I forget what it's called. Those are options, if you want to just like take out one of the Needle Fibers, because I am running 2. But yeah, Coral Dragon is a good option, just because you can. I like to trade out into Coral Dragon and then use that Coral Dragon to make another Needle Fiber, and then I get to draw a card as well because Coral Dragon leaves the field. So there's that. Anyways, got a little sidetracked. The last monster is just the Link Spider, just because I am running the Triple Shine Ball. I'm thinking about like taking out the Link Spider just because I'm not summoning it very much. Um, yeah, it is in the deck for now. I mean, this is like a rough draft sort of thing. Like I've only had this deck for maybe a day or two, so I'm still testing a lot of stuff, like which monsters need to stay in the deck and which monsters need to be traded out for more consistent plays and stuff like that. But that's it for the main deck and the extra deck. These are just cards that I've tried out inside the deck. Obviously the driver engine. Um, I was trying Stardust, but the extra deck is so tight that there's not enough room for any more monsters. Um, so I put the Stardust down here. The Alistair is part of the Sky Striker engine sort of thing. Um, you go for like the token, make this guy, get back this card, and then go for another token, and then you go for Alistair. Because it needs 2 months with different types and attributes, and the token's like, what is it? A Dark Warrior for some reason. And I think all the Link monsters are machines with like various attributes. So Alistair's like the best option. He's also got 1800 attack points. So if you do decide to run the Brandish, or the not Brandish, the Sky Striker option, Alistair's a good monster to run with that. The Linkuriboh is just part of the driver engine as well. Like this is the whole engine in the main deck, basically like 5 cards, 6 cards technically. So it's a big engine, it's and then it takes up like you need Summon Sorceress, you need Linkuriboh, you need Skull Dread, and then you need Needle Fiber as well. So that's 4 spots in the extra deck. So it does take up a lot of real estate. That's why I took out the driver engine. But you can run either 2 of these engines. It's definitely good options. Anyways, I think that's it for my agents deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is very, if you have any suggestions, like it's not very like long into the life cycle, so I am obviously still I've said this before, but I'm still testing stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Comments. I've said this a few times, but every deck that I make is supposed to be fun, because the meta is not fun. Like it's not fun to just not let your opponent play the game. It's any deck that will just make your opponent mad, like that's not very sportsmanlike, just to play a deck just so your opponent can't play. It's not fun. I don't like to play those kind of things. I grew up playing this game and having fun with my friends playing this game, and it's a card game. It's not. I mean, I can understand competitive players that want to win. They need to win, but players that aren't playing competitively, it's not fun to play. It's a card game, and it's meant to be fun. It's it's meant to be enjoyed. It's not meant to be unfun for the people playing it. And when people aren't having fun, why are you playing the game? Like why are you playing the game if you just want to make other people not have fun, and you just want to play meta decks, and you just want to try super hard, because it is a card game, and it's supposed to be fun. It's anyways, short rant there, sorry. It's this is it for the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you guys later. Bye.